So the particular, we'll try to go to the next slide where we can see the solid type of single point cutting tool, the left hand side diagram, and is mostly the single point cutting tool we are normally see in the machine shop, and in the industries mostly we see the tip type of single point cutting tool where where the tip at the tip the cemented carbide is attached with the help of a grub screw. So that is the tip type of single point cutting tool, and in the indexable type we have to index the insert because just like in gear cutting or gear milling, we try to index the particular gear by through gear indexing that you learn in the already might have learned in production technology one or in the machine shop as far as the metal cutting and machine tools. We'll try to just go for the demo as far as the indexable insert type single point cutting tool. So how the geometry is there, the nose is shaped as conical with different angles. So that is the particular thing we have to observe as far as the particular single point cutting tool. And here we have the particular face of this is the shank, this is the face, and this is the base. As far as the tool cutting edge is concerned, again we have the face, the side flank, and we have two types of cutting edges. One is the side cutting edge, that is the main cutting edge. The other one is known as the end cutting edge, or also known as the the auxiliary cutting edge. So that is the particular thing regarding the single point cutting tool. But in the ensuing slides, we'll just try to see that also. So now we'll again shift over to the types of chips. So after the chips, we have that particular single point cutting tool nomenclature, where we can discuss the back rake angle, side rake angle, end clearance angle, side clearance angle, end cutting edge angle, and side cutting edge angle. So as for the types of chips are concerned, there are four in number. So the first one is the continuous chips. It is formed with brittle material. So just like aluminum, copper, mild steel, and wrought iron. So chip is produced when there is low friction between the chip and tool face. So whenever you are using a ductile material, you have, and chip is formed in the form of long strings or curls in a tight roll, just like spiral. And the formation of long lengthy chip is also heterogeneous. So it is not good for the operator because not good for the machining process also as well as the machine operators because it may stick to the tool and form a built-up edge. But here we'll try to take precaution in the tool design itself by going for the chip breakers. So next slide we'll try to discuss about that as far as the chip breakers are concerned. So that particular continuous chip may wrap on the cutting tool or workpiece and interrupt the cutting operation if it is a lengthy chip. So, we have to deform the chip or break long continuous chip into small pieces. So it is done by using, already I told you, it's a chip breakers, and the chip breakers should be made as an integral part of the tool design, not a separate device, because if a long continuous chip is formed, we can break the chip into small pieces by means of chip breakers. Next, we have the continuous chip with built-up edge, and this is the particular thing we are discussing because it should not form the built-up edge. It decreases the efficiency of the tool because high friction exists between the chip and tool, and the chip material will weld itself to the tool face. So the proper machining is not taking place, proper metal cutting is not taking place, and we have a poor surface finish on the workpiece. So this is the particular thing as far as the continuous chip is built up edge, and the welded material increases friction further. So whenever the friction is increased, the power which is drawn at the tool also increases because the torque P is equal to 2 pi n by 60, and torque is a function of force into radius. So the force we are increasing the friction means the force we have to exert more amount of force. So like that, this built up edge, it grows and breaks down when it becomes unstable. Here also the chips with built up edge, already I told you, with higher power consumption, poor surface finish, and the tool is wearing at a larger rate. So we have to replace the tool, and we have to go for the new tool. Whenever a new tool is replaced, mostly in manufacturing is known as a sister tool, tool change. So that is the thing we have as far as the continuous chip with built-up edge is concerned. So next we have the discontinuous or segmented chips. So this discontinuous chips are formed. So whenever we have that particular brittle materials, whenever it is associated with brittle materials like cast iron, brass and bronze at very low speeds and high speeds, and here the brittle materials are whenever we are going for metal cutting, it is a fair moderate surface finish. So power consumption is low when compared to the built-up edge, and we have a reasonable tool life. So for ductile materials, it is associated with poor surface finish. Successive tool wear will be there when compared with the particular this one ductile materials. So non-homogeneous chips. This is the fourth kind where non-uniform strain in the material will be there, because in theoretical models already yesterday I told you we try to have a idealized model in which we want to have a uniform strain in the material during chip formation. That we'll discuss in the merchant's model. But here in the non-homogeneous chips in the form of notches, and non-homogeneous chips are developed when we are machining the highly hard alloys like titanium. So when we machine titanium, non-homogeneous chips are formed. So next, how to go for the chip control and chip breakers. So we'll try to discuss later, because we go for the single point cutting tool. Yesterday I told you that is the next part we will discuss today. So in the single point cutting tool nomenclature, all of you listen carefully, because there's a very fundamental concept which each and every one should know as far as the diagrams are concerned. You have to practice the diagrams, and the first diagram is related to the face, cutting edge and nose. Already we know this. And the second diagram is related to the front cutting edge angle and the side cutting edge angle, and the others are the nose. This is the front cutting edge angle, a line drawn perpendicular to the base of the tool to the axis which is formed with the nose. That is the front cutting edge angle, and the side cutting edge angle is the particular side cutting edge angle is the angle which is formed between the side of the nose and this one. So side cutting edge angle is the angle between the side cutting edge and the longitudinal axis of the tool. You can see the axis which is parallel to the base of the tool, that is the side cutting edge angle, and we have that particular front cutting edge angle. Front cutting edge angle is also known as the particular end cutting edge angle simply, and we have a particular range of the end cutting edge angle from 8 to 15 degrees. So that is the particular values we have to exert, and we should not go for larger cutting edge angles. So larger end cutting edge angles, it weakens the tool. Suppose it is weakening the tool, the machining cannot take place properly, and we have a poor surface finish. So we have to go for an optimum angle between 8 to 15 degrees, and we should see that it should not exceed more than 15 degrees. So as far as the side cutting edge angle is concerned, there is an angle between the side cutting edge and the longitudinal axis already you have seen, and its complementary angle is known as the approach angle. So it is between the feed direction and the side cutting edge. So side cutting edge, it increases the tool life, because the cutting force is distributed over a wider surface on the workpiece. So that is because it provides greater cutting speeds. V is equal to pi dn by 60, and the tool life is increased, and a quick heat dissipation is there. Heat is dissipated, and naturally we have a good surface finish on the workpiece. The significance of side cutting edge angle. So next one is the clearance angle, the end clearance angle, and the back rake angle. So here the back rake angle is a very important concept. And what is rake angle? Rake angle is the slope of the tool face, and it's formed between the tool face and a plane parallel to its base. You can see the diagram itself. And what is the significance, or what is the, before going to the significance, we'll try to go for the what is the back rake and side rake. So when the slope is towards the flank or towards the shank, it's known as the back rake angle. And or top rake. Back rake is also known as the top rake. The other simultaneous words, keywords also should be known. And when it's measured towards the side of the tool, just you try to see the diagram here. When it's measured towards the side of the tool, it's known as the side rake angle. So it is very important that rake angle is classified as back rake and side rake. And you have to show in two different diagrams. You cannot show in one diagram. And because this is the particular view of this one, and this is a view of this particular tool edge, the side rake and the side clearance angle. So back rake angle and end clearance angle can be shown in one view, and the side rake angle and side clearance angle can be shown in one view. So what is the significance of the back rake or the rake angle? It allows the chips to flow in a continuous direction, continuous or a convenient direction from the cutting edge, away from the cutting edge, what I mean to say. And it reduces the chip pressure on the tool also, chip pressure on the tool face, and consequently it improves the surface finish of the workpiece, and it reduces the cutting forces also, because whenever it reduces the cutting forces required to shear the metal, required to cut the metal or shear, machine the metal, thereby increasing the tool life. Because whenever the cutting forces are low, naturally it increases the tool life, and whenever the cutting forces are low, it reduces the power consumption also. So that is the significance of rake angle. And the particular we have the side rake also. So side rake, it influences the machining. So that is the particular, and it is known as, it is also known as the true rake angle, because that is the particular thing we have. And the rake angle, the rake angle may be positive or zero rake or negative rake. Apart from the back rake and side rake, we will discuss this also. But the diagrams are not there. It is theoretical. You have to know what is positive rake. So what is positive rake? We try to tell as a positive rake, whenever a tool has a positive rake, when the face of the tool slopes away from the cutting edge, or also slants towards the side of the tool, side or the back. Back means it is the shank portion. You already have seen what is the shank portion of the tool. So that is the positive rake angle. So positive rake angle, you should not keep more than, already I told you, not more than 15 degrees, and the range is between 8 to 15 degrees. And positive rake angle you can use for high speed steels, HSS. And zero rake rake angle you use for brass. So brass is turned well with tool with zero rake angle. So zero rake means when no rake is provided on the tool. That means tool has no slope. Whenever the tool has no slope and is parallel to the upper face of the tool, it's known as the upper face of the upper shank. It's known as the zero rake. Okay. So that is the zero rake angle. So what do you mean by negative rake? So when a tool has a negative rake, when the tool face slopes away from the cutting edge, and slanting is important. You just try to see what's the difference between positive rake and negative rake. Here the slanting will be upward towards the side or back of the tool, whereas in positive rake is towards the side of the tool, or towards the shank or side of the tool. Here in negative rake, it is towards the side or back of the tool. So negative rake angle is provided on cemented carbide or ceramic tools. So negative rake, we can carbide tools with negative rake are used for machining extra hard surfaces. and stronger materials also. Whenever we have to have a mass production, we'll try to use the negative rake angle. So you learn yourself what are the advantages of the positive rake angle and negative rake angle also. And now we'll try to come to the actual part where this diagram is very important as the examination point of view. So you may ask to explain the particular single point. Mute చేసుకోండమ్మా, disturbance వస్తుంది. So we have the face, the shank already we have seen, and in the one of the diagrams already I told you what is the end cutting edge angle and the side cutting edge angle, the nose, what is the cutting edge, and here already I told you in one of the diagrams we have to show the back rake angle and the included angle. Here the lip angle is also known as included angle. We'll try to do the measurement of cutting angles in metrology lab in 3.2, sorry, and we have the particular base also, and we have the particular lip angle as the excluded angle, and the side relief angle. Whenever we come to the side rake angle, we have the side relief angle, and here along with the back rake angle, the end relief angle and clearance angle. So that is the particular thing we have. And అమ్మా డిస్టర్బెన్స్ వస్తుందమ్మా. సార్ చంద్రరావు గారు కొద్దిగా చూడండి సార్ కొద్దిగా. హలో హలో. సో బ్యాక్ రేక్ యాంగిల్ చంద్రరావు గారు మ్యూట్ చేయమని ఇంకా 10 minutes ఉంది సార్. Okay. So back rake angle we have seen the angle between the face of the tool and the angle and the line parallel with the base of the tool. Already this particular things we have discussed, and this angle helps to remove the chips away from the workpiece. So all these are particular things, and side rake angle is denoted by alpha s. This is the angle by which the face of the tool is inclined sidewards. So we will try to provide the clearance as well as the side rake angle between the workpiece and tool. So we will try to prevent the rubbing of workpiece with the end flank of tool. End relief angle also we have seen in the diagram is defined as the angle between the portion of the end flank immediately. So it is measured at right angles to the flank. So that is the thing we try to have. So that is the and the particular end relief angle and side relief angle. So you just try to see in the diagram what is the end relief angle. The end relief angle, this is the angle drawn between the perpendicular and the axis of the tool face, and you have to clearly define the end relief angle like this. And back relief angle and the side relief angle is known as the angle that prevents interference of the tool. So the angle between the portion of the side flank, you can see portion of the side flank between the side of the tool and the particular line perpendicular to the base of the tool. It's measured at right angles. So that is so you have to provide this one, and the significance of all this you have to know. End cutting edge angle already we have discussed, end cutting edge angle and the side cutting edge angle, and you should not provide a larger end cutting angle, and the side cutting edge angle is known as the lead angle also. So the angle between the straight cutting edge on the side of the tool and the side of the shank. So you have to see the difference between the end cutting edge angle. So end cutting edge angle is the angle between the end cutting edge and a line perpendicular to the shank. So here it is between the straight cutting edge on the side of the tool and the side of the shank. So this side cutting edge angle is responsible for turning the chip away from the finished surface. So here, end cutting edge angle provides a clearance, but here in the side cutting edge angle, it tries to turn the chip away from the finished surface. So yesterday I want to tell the tool signature also. So yesterday I prepared the PPT regarding this one, the tool signature. So we have 7 elements that comprise the tool signature, and everything these are very important, because whenever you ask what is the tool signature, the first digit is known as the back rake angle. Back rake angle is 0 degrees. Yeah, you just give the digits as you like, not exactly in the example I provided. And side rake angle. Side rake angle is 7 degrees. And the third one is the end relief angle. Third one is 6 degrees. And the fourth digit is the side relief angle. Side relief angle is 8 degrees. You can see that particular digits also. And the 50, this one end cutting edge angle is now the 15 degrees. And the side cutting edge angle is 16 degrees. 15 is end cutting edge, side cutting edge is 16 degrees. And nose radius, you can provide 0.8 or 1 mm or 1.2 according to the particular workpiece being machined. So you can provide not more nose radius, you should not provide more according to the workpiece or according to the workpiece, you try to design your tool along with the chip breakers. Already I told you, because tool design is a very important concept, and you have a Central Institute of Tool Design at Balnagar, in which we have the PG diploma courses also. One can join after BTech to enhance your knowledge and go directly into the industry. So that is the particular thing about the particular the tool signature. So next class we'll be seeing the properties of cutting tool materials, as well as the other aspects of the particular mechanics of metal cutting, where we have the how the chip formation is there, and already we have seen the types of chips. And next class we'll try to discuss the chip control and chip breakers. Already chip breakers we have seen. So what are the chip breakers? They're used along with the tool. So it helped the breaking of the chip into small pieces that we use try to use in the discontinuous chips. Okay, and we have already seen what is the. So I'm summarizing what we have learned today. We already what is the difference between orthogonal cutting and oblique cutting, and all this one. And here you have to note down the features of the orthogonal and oblique cutting also. Oblique cutting also. So in orthogonal cutting, the direction of chip flow velocity is normal to the cutting edge because it is 90 degrees. In oblique cutting, the direction of chip flow is an angle, is at an inclination angle. So that you have to observe. So here the angle of inclination is 0 in the orthogonal cutting, and here the angle of inclination is the cutting edge is inclined at an angle which is with the normal to work speed. So all these are there, and chip flow angle in orthogonal cutting is 0. You have observed the diagram. All this you have to see. And in the oblique cutting, the 3 mutually perpendicular components. So all these are very much required. The concept of the oblique cutting and the orthogonal cutting. Orthogonal cutting is 2-dimensional, and oblique cutting is 3-dimensional. So tomorrow we'll try to see what are the properties of tool materials, what are the tool materials and the properties of tool materials, and how the tool materials are classified. So carbon tool steels, we have the high-speed steels, and we have the cast cobalt base alloys and the cemented carbides. Cemented carbides are also 2 types. One is the straight tungsten carbide cobalt grade, and the next one is the alloyed tungsten cobalt grade. So all this, the tool materials and the properties of tool materials also we have to discuss. And we have the ceramic tools also, aluminum oxide, silicon carbide, SiC. Because silicon carbide is very important in the grinding also. So grinding SiC, and we have the boron carbide, titanium carbide here, ceramic tools, titanium boride. Here, because why we are using the tools? Because for harder materials, and whenever we are using the high speeds and everything. So these are the next one is the diamond tools. So we'll just try to just have a particular thing. And after this classification of tool materials and properties of tool materials, we'll try to discuss the tool life also. Tool life, the last tool life machinability. But before that, again, we have to go for the particular merchant's diagram, because based on the merchant's diagram only, we have some particular problems based on the particular coefficient of friction and everything. Because mu is equal to tan b, tan beta, and beta is the shear angle, and all the particular angles we have discussed as well as the single point cutting tool, that is the rake angle. What is the rake angle? And sometimes even in the particular gate, you will ask the particular problems, or in the JNT exam, you will ask the problems regarding that particular what is the rake angle, what is the shear angle you have got from the problem, and you have to, we'll discuss that after discussing the Merchant's model. So here you might have seen what are the different diamond tools, polycrystalline, PCB, and everything. And this is the particular classification of the tools, and the properties of tools also there. And tool wear also will discuss the types of tool wear, the flank wear, crater wear, and everything, and the machinability. But before that, the heart of this particular fundamentals of machining is the single point cutting tool and the Merchant's model theory, Merchant's theory. So that is the, what are the cutting forces? Vs, the shear velocity, and Vc, that is the cutting speed. And what is the T0? T0 is the uncut chip thickness. What is T? T is